Hello, everyone. Welcome to Meet the People at SAP NZ. I'm Shailendra, and you're watching this simulcast live on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. For you to view this episode and other sessions that I run on emerging technologies live, I would request you to follow me so that you can be alerted when a live session is on. This gives you an opportunity to directly ask the question from our guests. So please press the follow button. In today's episode of Meet the People at SAP ANZ, I have Simon Grace, who is the industry business architect for healthcare at SAP ANZ. Simon has been working on social impact projects over and above his day job since 2014, running tablet education projects in rural India, rural telehealth projects, and then co-founded SAP Digital Aged Care in 2017 to help seniors live at home for a longer period of time. He helps health and aged care organizations for their business transformation journeys. So without any further ado, let me bring on Simon Grace, co-founder, SAP Digital Aged Care. Hi, Simon.
Hi, Shailendra. How are you?
Very good, Simon. How are you doing?
Yeah, very well. It's nice hearing about you.
Okay, Simon, welcome to SAP Meet the People at SAP NZ. To start with, tell me about yourself. Tell me about your career journey so far.
Sure. So as you mentioned, I'm a co-founder of Digital Aged Care. We're, a social startup in SAP that's trying to make a difference at scale through volunteering and technology. But really, I found myself in this place through a lot of passion into healthcare. I've been working in projects across Asia, since 2014. I started working in Asia to really find my feet. I then went to Accenture to build up more skill sets. I then started working in Blackmores, and then following that into various telehealth projects in the likes of rural India. And I found myself at SAP through I've been convinced by really passionate and inspiring people.
Okay, so what about the IT industry? What was it about the IT industry that brought you here to work in this particular space?
Sure. When I was working in some projects in the likes of government operations, things can take years to actually make some kind of an impact. I mean, we can see the MDM. The team actually does a really fantastic job, but it's just such a large project. But what I found in IT, I met these exceptional people, such as Samir Aref or Ruth Tan, who's able to allow or enable retailers to get product to consumers in a realistic time frame, which is a wonderful thing in a time like this. It's hard not to be inspired.
Brilliant. And how did you end up at SAP? You said SAP is a wonderful company to work with. What was the transition from your last organization to SAP?
Sure. Back at uni, I used to do internships for different companies. I was lucky enough to have an internship with SAP. I then left SAP for a number of years, and then I also got to have some experience with SAP again when I was at Accenture due to some Kanban projects. I started to see some of the same people over and over again, and I eventually got a call from my old manager, Dima Sieben, and he absolutely convinced me to come back on board. It was a very easy decision.
Brilliant. Do you know that both of us have worked for Accenture?
Oh, really?
Some different points. Okay. Can you share one interesting fact about yourself that your colleagues don't know?
Right. They might not know that I used to be a musician. So I used to play about 25 musical instruments.
25 instruments? Mm-hmm.
So I've sung at the Opera House. I used to teach primary schools music. And I used to be absolutely a musician before I was in IT. And still, the other month, I was able to sing at a wedding with my sister, which was really nice.
So you sing and you play instruments?
Yes, although mostly singing in the shower now. I don't get much of a chance to practice these days.
So do you professionally do stuff as well associated to some kind of a band or not?
I wish. And if there's anyone listening that wants another singer, I volunteer.
Well, to be honest, one of my ex-CEO runs a band. He used to be the CEO at Coles. And he runs a band. And even today, because I'm connected to him on Facebook, even today he plays it in various restaurants in northern beaches. And, I get to see all those pictures. So I thought you were doing something like that as well.
That's cool. Instead of rock and roll, it's toilet roll.
Well, toilet rolls are the talk of the town these days as we are getting into this epidemic.
Absolutely.
Okay, your current role at SAP, what does it entail? Can you explain a day in a life of yours? Well, not of these days because we are all quarantined, but when you go to work, you were going to work 2 weeks ago. How was a day in a life?
Sure. And I guess it's largely similar to what it is now. So I guess as an industry business architect, and I focus in healthcare, I'm the link between the executives and strategy of a business, of our customers, and the solution expertise of SAP and across SAP. So for customers like Genesis Care or Queensland Health, they might have a broad strategy of how they want to engage patients or they want to run a more efficient business. Then I work with the rest of the solution expertise to find out what is the best architecture and what is the best digital strategy and what is our project plan over the next year, 3 years, and how do we make them successful?
Okay, so Digital Aged Care, team that you co-founded, how did that come about? So explain to us what was the thought process you were going through and how were you able to convince the leadership to say, well, we need to have such kind of a team dedicated to digital healthcare, digital aged care.
Sure, and it's something that we continue to try to do even today. So digital aged care, I'd been working in aged care for a couple of years before we started in One Billion Lives. I kept on seeing the same issues all the time. Seniors in nursing homes that only get 6 minutes of attention per day to get them dressed, to get them showered, to give them breakfast, to get them ready for the day. I don't know about you, but I take
6 minutes.
Yes, 6 minutes in many cases.
Are you serious? Because I myself take at least half an hour.
Yeah, you and I both. And what if someone tried to rush you? No way, right?
No way, yeah.
No way.
6 minutes.
Which means that a lot of time they miss out on things like showers. They miss out on some of the attention. And it's not the fault of aged care organizations. They're under enormous funding constraints, pressures, and care is tough. And also because of the funding, they have like $6 a day for food. They have some woeful measures that are. I kept on hearing about stories about seniors that have passed away, and they're not actually discovered for about 3 days in some cases.
3 days.
3 days. We've had some personal stories about that in the past. And I've been working with a couple of guys in SAP, Thorsten Malcolm. They're our innovation gurus. They're wonderful. And we work together to build this digital Barbie doll, which monitors the Barbie's heart rate. And, we can show that the Barbie looks so young because we can take great care of it. And we showcase a few events. So we'd kind of started this journey and working with aged care providers. And I saw my now partner, Abhinav Singhal, he made a post to this 1 Billion Lives forum. And it was about helping seniors live at home for longer using technology in SAP. And I thought, I got to be part of this. And so I met with Abby, and then we got through the first round. We went to Singapore. We then went to Germany and San Francisco to pitch, to provide, to see if we get funding for support, as well as time in our day jobs so that we can volunteer for something that matters. And I don't know how, but we were successful. And now we're 25 weekly volunteers and growing. And it's now the team that really inspires me every day.
No, this is. So can you share some of the stories you mentioned about these seniors? Because it's appalling, 6 minutes per person. I can't do it.
So, to share a little bit about what we do, and then I can share some stories of brother. So what we do is we digital aged care combines the intelligence from devices, so
Yep.
things like smart pulse sensors or heart rate monitoring from a watch, or voice intelligence from a Google Home. If you fall, ask for help, ask for a service.
Mhm.
Takes all of this data and applies machine learning on it, so that for any care providers or the family, their apps help them predict risk, mobilize the right care for the right person,
Mhm.
and then give that crucial visibility to the family, so you know how your parents are going, and then you can engage in their care. So I mentioned some apps. Now, elderly's apps, older people aren't always as I guess used to technology if they're in their 90s. So when we were rolling out our second prototype, we went to one of our co-innovation partners who's designing the product with us. They're an aged care provider. And we were going to go for a roadshow showing the apps to different seniors and testing out, see if it works. And the first senior, let's call her Betty. And she's this witty, brilliant, bright and bubbly 92-year-old. But she is also blind, and she has English as a third language. She came after the Second World War to Australia. And we're showing her an app. She's blind. And naturally, I felt like an idiot. I felt like an absolute idiot. But it's probably the best thing that we ever did, because immediately after, our team started building everything for the Google Home, so that her main issue was she wanted to see the time of day, or she wanted to hear the time of day. She doesn't know if it's lunchtime, dinner time, if someone's coming out of a medication, whatever. So by allowing these people to, ask the time instead of trying to find a button in the house that reads out the time for them, which they can ask the time, they can get medication reminders, they can say, help, I need some support, I need a cleaning service, or I need to go check up on this thing. And now that happened, we've now given this to retirement villages in India, so that they can also have this model of care in places where they can't afford it as well.
Amazing. Actually, this reminds me, I was in Japan a couple of years ago, and I was told that the aged people there who live by themselves, the government has put in some purifiers there, and if there is, and the water in the purifiers need to be replaced every day, and if the water doesn't finishes, then it hits an alarm so that someone can go and visit that next morning. But I was just thinking, now that you've said all of that we could be even in real time, because that could be still 6 to 7 hours away before something has happened. But with what you were telling me, it's much more real time, much more quicker.
Yes. And I mean, likewise in Japan, we've been working with SAP Japan in the Fukushima region. After the unfortunate earthquakes and what happened in the Fukushima nuclear disaster, there were a lot of younger people that left. So there are a lot of elderly Japanese people that, 7 hours is kind of the common if there's something that goes wrong. So we've been working with the Japanese team to see if we can use fall detection in the watch, and also fall detection in sensors, and also a way for seniors to request help, so that in real time, if something happens, they can get the care that they need. Because you're right, sometimes you can't wait.
Absolutely. And this is, I'm still stunned with the 6 minutes story at the moment. I can't believe someone is just at that age where they even need more care, and you're just giving them 6 minutes a day. Well, I imagine to be there in 30 or 40 years time, and then I won't be able to survive.
Absolutely. I mean, while they are outside of the 6 minutes a day for the morning preparation, they will give certain time, but still, a lot of there aren't enough registered nurses out there. The average age of workers in aged care are actually 50, so we're having a lot of retiring workforce. So we're seeing a bit of a disconnect. There are a lot of 25-year-old nurses and a lot of 55-year-old nurses. and we have this lack of funding that's causing, the entire industry to break. And I'm sure you've seen the Royal Commission.
Okay, sorry. I would also request all my audience, if you think of an idea which we could leverage and we could help lives of these aged people or seniors better using the emerging technologies like IoT, artificial intelligence, and LP, then please put them in comments. And I think that will be some great information that we can take back and execute if possible. So I would request all of you watching this episode, please provide your ideas and your thoughts and your comments in the comment box. Okay, coming back to you, Simon. So tell us about your career journey within SAP. How you've grown from when you started here.
Sure. I think I've been relatively fortunate that I've been able to stay in healthcare. I've been able to stay in my passions. I started as an industry value engineer, growing the aged care go-to-market. So we started with, two customers locally in Australia, and we worked with aged care providers to have customers across all different lines of business in SAP, and then help create aged care specific innovations for them. And then over the last couple of years, I've moved into an industry business architect for healthcare. But I mean, for me, that's largely the same. It just means that I can focus in on a select few customers. It's been relatively the same, although always different every single day for the last 5 years.
Okay. So this year, what is your key focus? What are the key focus areas that you're looking at in the current year?
Right now, we have since I look after healthcare, and a lot of my customers are healthcare providers, and they are keenly focused on the COVID-19 or the SARS-CoV-2 outbreak. A big focus of mine is supporting them. So I'm currently working with the likes of Queensland Health to find out how SAP can support them in giving them real-time visibility on the assets, the inventory, predict patient volumes, engage with citizens, triage, and all of that kind of activity, so that we can minimize transmission, minimize mortality, and minimize morbidity, so that we can also have just a greater quality of life. It will take another 6 months, but this will be a big focus. Otherwise, I've got my typical exciting customers, helping them expand overseas, increase new product lines, and how digital technology can help them grow.
So on COVID, what are we doing to help the world in solving the COVID-19 problem?
So SAP, and particularly Qualtrics, have released a campaign called Here to Help. Mm-hmm. They've been able to provide COVID-related surveys, not just for healthcare, but for all industries, where we can provide a touch point for organizations to reach out to their partners, their employees, or their customers to figure out where the challenges of COVID are. So Qualtrics is providing COVID response free of charge. So we're taking this investment and applying it to the likes of Queensland Health and others, so that they can engage with their citizens and patients better. We're also, as Digital Aged Care, aiming to support the coronavirus outbreak. Of course, it's an absolute tragedy because most of the people affected, not economically, but health-wise by the coronavirus, are elderly people. So we're rejigging and re-innovating our application suite so we can actually work with elders to make sure that even if they're in social isolation, that they can get the care that they need, that if there are any issues, that we provide the right kind of activity to get them back on track. So these are the main things for COVID.
Okay. And what is the best thing working for SAP?
I guess the possibilities. Uh-huh. With SAP, and you would have seen this, absolutely. Yep. We have 100,000 people in every single industry, 188 countries, and we have conversations with the leadership of these businesses. And so we are able to guide their business strategy, and which is such a wonderful opportunity. And the people of SAP are so passionate about doing what's right for our customers, that we get this kind of perfect scenario. You love what you do and you love working with the people, and it can help scale to a good level of impact. I think that's really the best thing about working for SAP.
Hey, 1 billion lives project.
Yes.
Can you share some insights on what it is and
Yep.
how was the team evolved? I think you've been a major part of that whole team, and you're driving that project altogether as well.
So 1 billion lives, the program is a way for employees to submit their ideas for social impact and then receive the support from SAP to grow that impact. It is something where you volunteer, say 20% or more of your time towards a social initiative of your choice. So for the team, we started in 2017. And the main, I guess, key drivers of this are myself, Abhinav, and Leon. Abhinav is the venture lead and guiding that vision. I work with customers and design the products and the innovation, and work on the rollout and implementation. And Leon looks after our product development engineering. But we've got these amazing individuals all across the world, in Ireland, India, Germany, and America, that are actually volunteering between 20 and sometimes up to 100% of their time in a week on building these innovations. So it's taken an absolute journey to bring them in, and then also how do you bring someone, incentivize someone to work on something when they're not necessarily paid for it? So we have this very strong and rigorous community that we've been building up over the last year, which is why we have so many people dedicating their time.
Well, yeah, and I'm so overwhelmed with the fact that I got a mail yesterday about from the 1 billion life project team to what we can do to help solve the COVID-19 problem, where I have given 2 ideas as well. So it's such a great initiative that I got carried away and had spent a day in thinking about how actually we would be able to solve a COVID-19 issue, which is creating havoc at the moment. So God knows.
I'd love to hear it.
We should be able to help and I was telling my wife the other day that it'll be the industry which will come up with some solutions which can really help solve this problem.
Yes.
Anyway, okay, what did you achieve in out of participating in the 1 billion lives project? So tell us about your achievements and the goals that you set up front and you've met, and what are the kind of goals that you've put in place for this year and a couple of years from now?
Sure. So while I guess the main goals that we have is in terms of helping seniors live at home for longer. And that is our overarching goal. It's a social mission, and no matter what we do, that's what we're trying to achieve. We are finally at a point that we are about to release this digital aged care product for proper large-scale productive trials. And so this is one of the first that I know of solutions that has been released by SAP from a market unit. So from little old Australia, we've been able to actually build a product, and not just a simple product, a complex multi-application product, from Australia through Germany, and actually released it to actually have multi-country pilots. So we're about to kick off pilots in Australia, India, and Japan. And I cannot wait to see what, social impact that we can create. We've already worked with these seniors and these organizations. We've designed the model. We've designed how it works, how it's used. We've tested it with seniors. And now we're ready for the actual business use.
Good stuff. Is there any one case study you want to share where you're improving people's lives through the digital care initiative?
Well, as we're about to kick off the proper trials, I can't say definitively with data to show how we've actually helped someone stay at home for longer, but I know that the people using it so far in testing have felt more engaged in their care, and they've definitely felt that they can access their care greater. When we release the proper product for the trial, we hope to prevent falls as well as prevent the injuries from falls. We want to make sure that we have quicker speed to actually get the right care to the right person after they detect something in their heart rate or something like that. So I guess it's preventing hospital admissions, preventing falls, engaging the family, and ultimately helping them stay at home for longer.
Okay. Perfect. Whilst you've worked with SAP, any instance that you want to share and you say, well, wow, what a company to work for? Other than the ones that you've highlighted, which are brilliant, but anything that you've missed out?
That's a really tough one. That's a really tough one. I guess there have been times when you are working with a team and let's say we're working with the sales team, and we have an account manager who's got this vision for their customer to help them. And then we have a few people in a customer planning session where we realize that there is an actual opportunity to innovate and do something. And then 2 weeks later, I've come back and the innovation team has already built something, has already engaged with the organizations such as with Office of State Revenue, and has already been able to do something with machine learning or IT that hasn't been done before. And things that normally you imagine when you read the news takes years or months, you come back after 2 weeks and it's already done.
Yep.
Bizarre. Wonderful.
Brilliant. Okay, audience questions is a section. I haven't got a question by itself, but there was a message on Twitter by SW Collins who said, wow, impressive, Simon.
Thanks, SW Collins.
That was one message. I haven't got any questions. I'll just have a look. I think there was some glitch on LinkedIn, if there is any, but I can see. I haven't seen any questions. Maybe I'm not able to see them at the moment. There's something going on. If there is a glitch, we'll get to know. And if people have asked questions and we've not been able to get them, then possibly we'll look at the comment section and answer them individually. But I haven't seen any question as yet. But having said that, I was looking at the numbers on the top, and I can see that there was at a point in time 15 people who were watching us. Even now, there are around about 12 people who are watching us. So there are a lot of people who are watching, but I can't see that on LinkedIn, and so there might be a glitch with LinkedIn at the moment. But if we see the questions, Simon, I request you to please look out for the questions in the live session, and please answer them individually if that's done. For everyone who's watching this episode, if you've not asked a question yet and you want to ask a question, please ask the question in the comment section and Simon will answer. But I really apologize if you've asked a question and we haven't taken it, because I can't see any question at the moment. So there must be some glitch with LinkedIn. I really apologize on that. Though not my fault. Technology sometimes doesn't work. But anyways, I could see messages coming from Twitter, that was the message from Twitter from SW Collins. But that's where we are. So Simon, thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. And it was great listening to the stories that you had to tell. I'm still overwhelmed with the one on the 6-minute story. I think that needs to be taken care of, and we need to do something about it. And in the current environment where we are all quarantined, we've got enough time to think. I think we should think about how we can help make everyone else's life better and improve in it. So thank you very much. Thank you for your time. And thank you very much.
Have a lovely day, and thank you absolutely for the conversation. It's been great.
Bye now.
Bye.
So guys, that was Simon Grace, and some very impressive stories from him. I'm really, really happy to have him here. What I'm really upset about is that I couldn't see the questions or the stats live. For some reason, there's something going on. I really apologize for that. So I couldn't take the questions. But anyways, if you've got any questions, please write them in the comment section, and also mention if you were watching this live, if you were able to watch this live, then please mention one in the comment section, and if you were not and you're watching a replay, then please mention two in the comment section, so we actually understand what's gone on and what's gone wrong. Thank you very much for joining us. I will be back next week, Tuesday, 3 p.m. with another SAP exec to talk about their story at SAP ANZ. Till then, ciao, bye, see you later.